So today's topic will be on resective osseous surgery. So now let's get started. So first coming to what is an osseous surgery. So in a layman term, it is nothing but a surgery which is going to involve bone. Okay. So now coming to the definition which is given by GPT, Glossary of Periodontal Terms. So osseous surgery is nothing but periodontal surgery involving modification of the bony support of the teeth. So now this one is the bony support of the teeth and you are doing a periodontal surgery to modify this bony support of the teeth. Then this is called osseous surgery. To the history of osseous surgery. So earlier it was a notion that the bone over here would be infected and necrotic and we have to remove it. But now they say that this periodontal disease has caused some bone destruction pattern, and once you bring the bone to a physiological form, you bring the overlying gingival tissues also to a physiological form, which will in turn reduce or eliminate the pocket depth, as well as the recurrence rate of the pockets in future is also decreased. Now, osseous surgery can be of both additive and subtractive in nature. So as the name suggests, this is nothing but you are adding some bone. Subtractive means you are subtracting or removing some kind of bone. So this is mostly done in case of regeneration or substitution of bone. Okay, so imagine there is a 3-wall defect, okay, and you are trying to regenerate this area, okay, and you are bringing it up like this. So you are restoring the bone level to its original level. Okay, you are restoring the bone to its original level. Next coming to what do you mean by subtractive osseous surgery? It's nothing but our resective osseous surgery. Okay, here if you see that this is a normal healthy bone and here the bone destruction has happened. Now what do you mean by subtractive osseous surgery is that we are trying to restore the form of the pre-existing bone. So how it was, the form alone we are trying to restore, okay, but not to the original level, but to a level it was present at the time of surgery or slightly more apical to it. Okay, this is called subtractive osseous surgery. Now, before going into resective osseous surgery, we have to know what is the architecture of bone. So, in the architecture of bone, I would like to discuss about the positive architecture, the negative architecture, and the flat architecture. So when you are going to discuss about the positive architecture, 2 landmarks you have to know, which is called interdental bone and the radicular bone. So this bone over here, you call it as interdental bone and this is your radicular bone. Okay. Now if this interdental bone is coronal to the radicular bone, you call it as a positive architecture. And when do you call it as a negative architecture? When the interdental bone is apical to the radicular bone, you call it as negative architecture. And when interdental bone as well as the radicular bone is of the same height, you call it as flat architecture. So what is an ideal architecture? Okay, ideal architecture is nothing but a positive architecture, and we try to do a resective osseous surgery to create a positive architecture. So what is the main goal of this resective osseous surgery is that you are trying to reshape the marginal bone to a level like how it was when it was undamaged by any periodontal disease. Okay. Now certain terminologies to be known, okay, in this resective osseous surgery is, one is osteoplasty and the other is ostectomy. Now as the word suggests, just remember plasty meaning you are trying to mold the bone, okay, whereas ectomy meaning you are trying to remove or excise a part of the bone. So in osteoplasty, we are trying to reshape the alveolar process, but you are not removing, okay, any tooth supporting bone. I'll come to it later. Now here, imagine that there is a ledge. Okay. Now you are trying to reshape this alveolar process here. Okay. But you are not touching this tooth supporting bone. Okay. So this is called osteoplasty. So what do you mean by ostectomy? We'll take an example here. See, basically this is a one wall defect. Okay, you are doing, this is a one wall defect and you are doing a resective osseous recontouring, and you are removing, in flattening of interproximal bone, you will basically remove this tooth supporting bone over here. So you are removing the tooth supporting bone, that is called ostectomy. Now, two more terms we have to understand. What do you mean by definitive osseous surgery and compromised osseous surgery? See, definitive osseous surgery, again to the same example, there is a ledge which is present here. Okay, and you are doing the osseous recontouring and you are correcting it. Okay, but any further osseous recontouring you do here, it is not going to improve your final result. Okay, that is called definitive osseous surgery. But what do you mean by a compromised osseous surgery? Imagine there is a two-wall defect here. Okay, and you are correcting it. Okay, and you have brought to a flat architecture. But we know that the ideal architecture is we have to get a positive architecture. Okay, but if at all I do a positive architecture, I'll be removing a lot of tooth supporting bone here. Okay, so I don't want that. I'm going to stop it like this. So this is called compromised osseous surgery. Now, certain points to be remembered before you go into the steps of the resective osseous surgery is a normal alveolar bone morphology. Okay, in this I would like to stress on 3 points. So the first point would be the interdental bone should be coronal to your radicular bone. Okay, this is your radicular bone. This is your interdental bone and this should be coronal to your radicular bone. Next, the form of the interdental bone. Okay, form of your interdental bone will depend on 2 things. One is your tooth form and the next is your embrasure width. See, if at all your tooth form is more tapered, you will have a more pyramidal kind of a interdental bone. So interdental bone will basically be pyramidal, right? It like this. So this form will definitely be depending on your tooth form, okay, and your embrasure width. Embrasure meaning a V-shaped valley between the adjacent teeth. Okay, so if you have a more wide embrasure, you are going to have a more flat interdental bone. Now there is something called scalloping of the facial and the lingual alveolar plates. So here it's basically, if you see, it's going to resemble your festooning which you do in the complete denture, where you're going to have a depression here, then a root prominence, then a depression here, root prominence. Yes. So here they say that for the incisors and the bicuspids, you will have this kind of a scalloping and it will be flat when you come to your molars. Okay. Now, what are the indications to do a resective osseous surgery? You can do a resective osseous surgery in case of a tora, in case of exostosis, in cases of a ledge, a shallow crater, pre-prosthetic procedures and restorative and cosmetic procedures like clinical crown lengthening. So all that, we can use the resective osseous surgery. And now coming to the intra-bony defect, okay. Depending on the depth, width and the general configuration of the defect, we can either go into resective or regenerative procedure. But one thing here I would like to stress on is that, see, you are measuring the intra-bony defect, okay. You are measuring the intra-bony defect, and when it is less than or equal to 3 mm, you will definitely go for a resective osseous surgery. If it is more than that, you will go for a regeneration. And now, one important aspect to be stressed on during your diagnosis of resective osseous surgery is that before you start with your resective osseous surgery, you give a local anesthesia and you have to do a transgingival probing or a bone sounding. Meanings you're going to probe up till the level of bone. So by doing that, what do you achieve is that you get to know about the osseous topography. So you will get to know any intrabony defect present. Okay, like 1 walled, 2 walled or 3 walled. You will get to know if there is any crater or anything present and if there is any furcation involvement. Now, what about the radiographs is just going to be a 2-dimensional. Basically, you are going to take a periapical radiograph. It's very 2-dimensional and it is not very specific when compared to your transgingival probing or bone sounding. Now coming to the instruments used when you do a osseous resection technique. You can use your hand instruments, you can use your rotary instruments, and you can use something called piezoelectric surgical technique. So in hand instruments, you basically use chisel and rongers. Yes. For rotary instruments, you can use carbide burrs or diamond. With a high speed handpiece and a good irrigation. Okay, in piezoelectric surgical techniques, you can do both ostectomy as well as osteoplasty. For ostectomy, you use this OT7 and OT7S4 tips, and for osteoplasty, you use OP1 and OP3. So these ostectomy tips, basically they differ in their thickness. So here for OT7, it is 0.5 mm thick, and for this OT7S4, it's going to be 0.35 mm thick. Thank you.